Getting married is one of the most important milestones in the lives of so many people. I remember mine from a couple of years ago. It's a beautiful thing. But all marriages will have their highs and lows. Experts, including old married couples, will be the first to say marriages that work take work. And it can get a bit tricky and challenging for some, especially in this time of COVID-19. Let's have a reality check here on the program. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez. Welcome to MedTalk Health Talk. Joining us on the program are Lissy Ann Puno, counseling psychologist, book author, and founder of the International Counseling and Psychology Center in Singapore. And we're also joined by celebrity couple Richard and Maricar Poon. They're also the authors of the book 10 Things We Fight About. It's good to have all of you here on the show today. Now, exchanging ideas is the beginning of a lifelong journey for couples. And let's be honest, this COVID-19 pandemic will put any relationship to the test. We want to start with Miss Lissy. Let's talk about how the many months of lockdowns and quarantine restrictions are affecting married life. So unahin natin yung space, which is very important in any relationship. And ngayon, wala tayong masyadong space, both literally and figuratively. Now, Miss Lissy, what's the impact of that to a couple?
So marriages had certain routines that allowed us the space to do things for ourselves, for our work. And yet when the pandemic started, we found ourselves in confined lockdown. And soon enough, when this lockdown lifted, in other countries where there is divorce, the divorce rate truly increased because there was a lot of pressure to be with one another since tayo'y nasa bahay, tayo'y nagtatrabaho sa bahay, we can be with each other more. So bakit hindi pa rin tayo nag-uusap or bakit hindi pa rin tayo engaged sa isa't isa? So there were a lot of things that couples truly discovered during the lockdown. The top 3 is the empty marriage, the distant marriage, and the loveless marriage.
And how about you, Maricar and Richard? Your personal experiences and challenges this pandemic?
I think because from the start, we don't really have our jobs. We're not really a 9-to-5 kind of couple. Like our jobs don't require us to like go out every day for a certain number of times. But we work from home a lot. So when the pandemic hit, there isn't that much of a big difference in the way we do things. I think more of gigs and guestings are now via online like this. That's one of the bigger differences.
Yeah, pero on the general, medyo same kasi we work a lot from home din.
Yeah.
Parang ganun. So parang same din.
And we work together a lot.
Now, I want to go back to space. Ideally, we all need it, and under normal circumstances, married couples have space. When they go to work, when the husband or wife hangs out with their friends without their respective partners. But in a pandemic, there are a lot of limitations. Miss Lissy, how can couples maintain this space?
That's right. I mean, even before the pandemic, I mean, we had time and space for ourselves, for our passions, our work, for things that, we like to do. The answer is balance, right? I think if we keep the balance of self-time, couple time, parenting time, family time, and there's an understanding that they are all priorities, I think your partner will not be worried if you ask for some space.
And I believe honesty is non-negotiable in marriage. Maricar and Richard, is it okay to tell your spouse that you need to be alone? Is there a way to convey that message without making the other person feel unwanted?
Yeah, I think between the two of us, honestly, ako yung mas in need of like personal space. I like having me time. But the thing is with him, he's a weird person. He likes being told things straight. And I think with men, Especially, I think it's important for the women to be respectfully straight with them. Just be respectfully honest. Na, it's not that I don't love you. It's just that I need to go for an hour and have a Zoom coffee date with my friends, which I do sometimes. Or, just put a mask on your face and just read a book. I think that's really okay. As long as it's said respectfully and just straight, I think the men would appreciate that.
Yeah. I agree.
So you agree, Richard? Dapat ganun lang. Dapat straight to the point lang. Now let's break down some of the most common problems married couples are faced with in general. And number one is money, which again is a challenge in this time of COVID-19. Miss Lissy, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, of course, financial issues, money issues is really coming up as a big concern. During the pandemic, there's just so much uncertainty. There's so much unknowns about our work, about, the future of our careers, our businesses. But, this is one of the areas of intimacies, right? Financial intimacy, work intimacy. Again, with openness and honesty, talking about our fears and our worries with our partner, having an image of being a team with one another. Nakakayanin natin to, magtutulungan, and we are going to find the way no matter what.
A family friend once told me, don't ever go to bed angry at each other. Maricar and Richard, what are your thoughts on this?
Super, super important. Kasi any small, in a day, di ba, you can offend your partner in a non-intentional way. So, ang nangyayari kapag hindi kayo
piles up.
It piles
Yeah.
up. Nagkakaroon ng web of offenses. We remember talking to a certain woman, a mother na,
Yeah.
and hindi na niya talaga, no matter anong counseling na, hindi na niya mahanap yung root issue kasi sanga-sanga na yung mga offenses niya sa puso niya, parang
Yeah,
gano'n.
when she and her husband were talking, parang both of them have so many offenses towards each other.
Yeah.
Hindi na nila alam who started it.
Yes, correct.
So they can't get to the bottom of their issue. So it was really hard.
So the only solution talaga, the best solution is bago matulog, usap muna tayo.
Even if you don't want to.
Kahit na inaantok ka na.
That's usually my problem.
Yeah. Pero yun, that's a very good thing, di ba?
Mm.
You're watching Med Talk Health Talk on CNN Philippines. And we're talking about how we can keep our marriage happy. And when there's trouble in paradise, what can we do? We'll have some more answers for you after a short break. Stay with us. This is Med Talk Health Talk. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez. There's a saying that goes, never marry the one you can live with, marry the one you cannot live without. The first few months or years of being married is called the honeymoon phase. Miss Lissy, what is this phase exactly and how long does it usually last?
Well, the 7-year itch has been a common sort of term that's been used to describe many things, but specifically marriage and the honeymoon phase. But the research that this has been based on in the United States actually just refers to a period of time where the honeymoon phase is fading and the marriage or the relationship becomes more vulnerable to infidelity, to many different forms of exits, to disillusionments, a lot of sort of irritabilities and increase in conflict and argument. So we want to watch out for this 7-year itch, although unfortunately, this has now even decreased or shortened.
And for Maricar and Richard, what was the honeymoon phase like to both of you? Getting to know you stage pa rin ba ito?
Now, actually, we're still getting to know each other. I don't think that phase ever ends because there's always something new to learn about each other. But first year, siguro because we're such opposite personalities. Boyfriend, girlfriend pa lang kami. We fought a lot. We were already clashing. But good thing we have mentors that they kind of laid the groundwork for how we're supposed to look at this kind of situation.
So ginawa namin, pinatagal namin ng 2 years yung friendship namin, and then we were very honest to each other. So that honesty helped us see so many sides of each other na yung ibang couples nahirapan pang hanapin. Kami medyo, eto na yung ano namin, eto na yung, hindi na to best foot forward parang yun. So it helped.
Very good and practical advice. So with the end of the honeymoon phase, you start actually seeing your partner, warts and all. Suddenly, the cute little things he or she does are no longer cute. Now, Miss Lissy, is this normal? The halo effect, as they call it. At meron din bang tried and tested way to extend the honeymoon period or at least keep that spark alive?
Well, I think if we have sort of like a view, right, that marriage is a lifelong perspective and commitment, and that attraction usually fades, but we can hold on to it if we really work hard to keep that spark alive. So the qualities of the honeymoon phase is what we call the romantic love stage. So if we are going to continue to keep romance in our relationship, then the aspect of the honeymoon phase will continue to be there through the years.
And in your case, Maricar and Richard, how did you maintain that spark? As what Richard mentioned earlier, mas napatagal pa niya than the usual 2 years.
Ano nga ba?
Well, our mentors mentioned, kasi our mentors are into heavy counseling sa church. So they mentioned us to study a certain thing called the 10 emotional needs. And then from those 10, pag inaral daw namin, aralin daw namin yung top 3. So those emotional needs are what has been mentioned, I think, by Ma'am Liz is it financial support ang mataas sa'yo? Is it quality time? Is it a physical touch? Is it sexual intimacy? Is it being with the kids? Ganon. So pag nahanap na yung top 3, bawa, alam ko na yung top 3 ni Maricar, alam ni Maricar yung top 3 ko, every day we try to deposit. And then the more deposits, the more romantic feelings you have. And the less deposits, the less feelings you have. So importante yung everyday, intentional yung efforts to deposit.
Yeah. The kilig that you had at first, when you first met, when you first held hands, I mean, you have to accept na hindi na talaga babalik yung ganong kataas na level. But there's a different kind of more stable and deeper, and I think I personally really like the kind of kilig that we have now kasi alam mong tinrabaho mo. No, seriously. Parang tinrabaho mo siya eh. It's something that wasn't easy. I mean, you guys, only our mentors know how much we fought, how much we called them, and how much counseling and talking we received. Pero worth it siya eh.
Miss Lissy, you've touched on earlier about that 7-year itch. You mentioned some of the basis of this and how it is actually becoming sooner. Could you expound more on this, please?
The commitment and the dedication, the perseverance to make things work sometimes are challenged by the image of replacing things or disposing of things quite easily pag medyo tayo nahihirapan. Right? So that concept na, as Maricar mentioned, pinagtrabahuhan. So marriage is such as well. You need to put time, effort, and energy.
Okay, now when couples exchange their vows, we often hear the words, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. We'll talk about how we can keep our marriage strong, healthy, and most importantly, happy. You're watching Med Talk Health Talk on CNN Philippines. There's a saying, it takes two to tango. Getting married isn't just about finding the right person, it's also about being the right person. But there will always be bumps on the road. Our guests today are helping us understand the ups and downs of married life. For some couples, counseling or therapy might be the answer to their problems. When do you know, though, that it's time to seek help? Miss Lissy, a lot of people think that going to a counselor or a therapist is tuwing may problema lang ang kanilang relationship. Is this the case? And for those who think that they would like to seek counseling, what could they expect with that first session with their marriage or relationship counselor?
Freddie, thanks for bringing awareness to this concern, right? A lot of people feel that they should only seek marriage counseling when there's something wrong. And they worry that if they seek marriage counseling, ibig sabihin nun merong diferensya ang kanilang relationship. But the reality is, I explained to couples that marriage counseling is actually preventive. You know, we go and try and check for our health, our cars, we fine-tune, we get checkups every year. Why not our marriages and our relationships? The marriage will not be the same as it was when you were first newly married. So please know that it needs support through the years. In the first session, we try to understand from the couple, ano ba yung kanilang mga concerns, but naisip nila na mag-seek ng professional help. We also identify ano ba yung goals, no? What do they want to achieve? And the third, of course, we teach them dialogues, communication styles that will truly allow them to support the marriage moving forward even after counseling.
And for Richard and Maricar, how do you resolve conflicts or misunderstandings?
Of course, we'll try to discuss it, na kaming dalawa lang. But when we can't, and there are times that we can't, there are times that when we fight, it always ends up in sigawan or hurtful words. So pag ganun na yung level, we try, there are a couple of couples, there are other married couples that we call that are longer, their marriage is longer, they've gone through more than we have, and we go to them for help.
Mga ninong-ninang namin sa kasal, we take them well, not because of finances, pero because nakita namin ang lakas ng marriage nila.
Yeah.
So kapag hindi namin kayang dalawa, we have a group of married mentors, we call them. And then sila yung parang nagmi-mediate or nagiging referee na.
You can actually go for counseling even if you guys are still okay, kasi it can become even better. Your relationship can become even deeper. And sometimes you don't even have to go to a professional counselor, even just like having dinner with your ninong-ninang, a tito, tita, whose marriage that you admire. Just take them out to dinner, ask them, what problems do you think we'll face in the future? How did you handle it? Yung mga ganon na usapan. That's something that a couple can really do na practical that can help.
And before I end the show, I'd like to have a short message from both of you for our viewers to take in consideration and take with them on their couple's journey. I'll start first with Maricar and Richard.
You're okay. Everybody fights and there's always a way through it. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Tsaka, very important we always say is wala kami siguro together. Siguro hindi kami together na kung wala yung mga married mentors namin. So, very, very important na meron kaming mas matanda, mas experienced, mas matalino na couples above us. So, for those couples out there, it's not shameful or nakakahiya na to ask help or piliin yung ninong-ninang mo na malalakas ang marriage, because those couples will really help us kapag may problema. So, having mentors is a very good thing in marriage.
And the final word with Miss Lissy.
A strong and healthy marriage is, of course, an option for everyone. And this is what I wish for all your viewers. Stay connected, keep each other safe. Marriages has a great social responsibility because it's the foundation of a good family. And this is what I wish everyone. So stay connected.
And with that, marriage is a wonderful thing, but it's a commitment. And like anything in life, you have to put in work for it to succeed. We hope our discussion today was helpful for a lot of you. We'd like to thank our guests, counseling psychologist Lissy Ann Puno, and celebrity couple and book authors Maricar and Richard Poon. It was nice talking with all of you. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and we'll see you again on MedTalk Health Talk right here on CNN Philippines.